My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Resident Evil 3 on the PS4. Now, I really loved the second Resident Evil game, but I heard bad things about the third one going into it, and even though it took me a while to get into it, eventually this game won me over and I had a good time. My favorite aspect of this game is the characters Jill and Carlos. I thought they were a vast improvement over Claire and Leon from the second game. I just loved how brave these characters were. Every time there was a chance for them to do something right, they always did it. They acted with bravery and with courage, and you can tell that they both really admire each other. So I just love that whole dynamic. But I will say, this game's a bit messy. And when I say a bit messy, I mean it's really messy. Like, just the way it begins in such an abrupt manner that you're just like, oh, so we're just getting into it. Okay. And it just catches you off guard and not in a good way. But right away, we beat up the big dude, Nemesis, and I was just like, woof, thank goodness that's out of the way. And then he kept coming back and back and back, and it got to a point where it was no longer fun. It was kind of getting frustrating because I found everything involving him was just the same old, same old. I just loved you're walking around and he just jumps through the wall like the Kool-Aid man going like, oh yeah. Okay, he doesn't say, oh yeah, but I just thought of the Kool-Aid man. But I didn't find him scary like I found Mr. X to be scary. I just found him to be more annoying than anything else, and considering how many times you fight him, I just found all the boss fights to be so repetitive and annoying, and they were just excessive. After a while, I was just like, okay, I'm kind of done with fighting him. It was getting tiring after a certain point. There was a boss fight at the clock tower, and there was very little ammo in that area, and that just drove me bonkers. Like, that really peed me off. But that all said, I do really love the fact that you can see his appearance escalate throughout. He starts off as this big dude in a trench coat, and he's just following you around, and just how he slowly turns into something else throughout the entire game. I love that aspect. Because what he is at the end of the game is just totally different than what he was from the start of it. But while you're playing the game, it just feels like a natural progression. So I do love that element of him, but I didn't like fighting him that much. I also will say that, okay, slight spoiler warning, but you beat him at the end, and I just love that area where you can just walk around his guts. Just as someone who likes stuff like that, I thought that was a really cool moment. But there were some great moments in this game. There was a moment at the start where there was these bug-like creatures and they're crawling on the roof and the walls, and I thought that was really tense and scary, and I loved that. There's a moment where Carlos has to defend Jill at the hospital, and that moment was so much fun. Easily the best part of this game. And there's also a moment where you go back to the police station from the second game, and when I was there, I'm just like, oh, this is the police station from the second game. Oh, that's Marvin. That's awesome. Like, fan service? Yeah, definitely. But it was really good fan service. I kind of wish they actually did more with it, because it would have been cool to see like, oh, that's how the wall got like that, or that's how that thing ended up like that. Like, they do it a little bit, but I would have liked a little more. I will say that the graphics for this game look great, and I like some of the creature design. There's a few creatures that looked like the Pale Man from Pan's Labyrinth, you know, the dude that goes like, ah! And I loved it when the creatures looked like that. I thought that was really awesome. The more I actually think about it, the more that I think that this game gets better the more it progresses. It starts off, it's a bit wonky, but it gets better as you get closer to the end, because by the end, I did have a really good time. And I love the entire last act of this game. It takes place in a lab facility, and even though I've only played a couple Resident Evil games, the lab facility, to me, is just what feels like Resident Evil, and I just love that here. I thought the last act of this game was really great and really creepy, and I just loved it. The villain is awful. The villain is just terribly written. I will say that I also have a problem with the fact that you can easily miss weapons. I don't like that. If I didn't grab the grenade launcher, I would have been screwed the rest of the game. And like, you can easily miss it. So that kind of stuff really pees me off. And there's a vaccine puzzle. Oh, shit. Can I even say vaccine now? Well, hopefully I don't get dinged. But there's a puzzle where you have to make a vaccine, and I hated this puzzle. I thought it was stupid and annoying, and yeah. But those issues aside, I had a really good time with this game. It's not perfect. There are annoying elements. The constant boss fights did get on my nerves, but there's enough good here. The graphics look great. The characters are great. I love the story and just all the different directions it takes. I love the atmosphere behind it. It is a very scary game. It draws you into its atmosphere. And for those reasons alone, despite not being on the same level as Resident Evil 2, I did have a fun time with this game. So I'm going to go ahead and give Resident Evil 3 a 7 out of 10. Okay, did you play Resident Evil 3? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.